go. We are live as of right now. It says 2 people are here, but I think that might just be you and me. So we'll go with that. Welcome to GAFF Live this week. I have a special guest joining me, my sister, Allie. Thanks for coming, Allie.
Thanks for having me, John.
Allie is not affiliated with the financial services industry, which is important because the vast majority of our members are unable to participate in a live streaming session like this, even if they wanted to. As we move forward, I mean, there's been a lot of really good things in the industry over the last several years as things evolve, as we move into this more and more transparent world, but we still have a ways to go. And that's one example. I was texting somebody yesterday, and because I don't know the compliance agreements at all the different firms that are out there, but I asked one particular member, I'm like, hey, could you join me on this Zoom live? He's like, no, our compliance would never allow that. And I'm like, well, yeah, God forbid you talk directly to clients face to face and tell them the truth. But part of this is, I don't think people should be able to say anything, right? If you say the wrong thing, a firm absolutely has a right to fire you, but I think they absolutely should give you the opportunity to either say the right or wrong thing and not just completely bar you. So anyway, that is why we had, well, the first reason why I brought I guess there's 3 reasons why I brought you on. And it actually looks like I am getting somebody to join, Allie. So, we'll see how it goes.
All
right. But anyway, that's one of the reasons that we wanted to bring you on, is because not everybody is able to participate in this. And so I wanted to have somebody who could look at what we're doing and give feedback, ask questions on what we're doing, and see if you can understand it, Allie, then I think everybody can, right? That's
Thanks.
that's
the
hope.
Saying?
What's that?
I'm just kidding. I said, what are you saying?
What do you mean? What am I saying?
If I can understand it, anybody can.
Yeah, that's not the nicest thing I know, but anyway, and we are hoping, so there is a Zoom link in this post, so we would, if anyone is able to join, please do so. See, there's Drew, welcome.
I caught on to what you were saying, Allie. He was insulting your intelligence.
Hi, Drew.
What's up?
That's all right. He's my big brother. That's what he does.
That's kind of what I figured. That's what big brothers are for.
Now, did you get approved to do this, Drew, or are you just doing this and then you're going to get slapped later, or what?
I'm going rogue, bro.
All right. Well,
I mean, it's not about my business, so I'm not promoting my business. So
we'll see what happens. Well, thank you for jumping on. And
absolutely.
So my sister, I don't know if you heard the beginning, she's not affiliated with the industry, right? So she's just here as kind of moral support. But I also, it is going to be helpful. And I was kind of getting to this, I think, and I want to say this in a mean way, if she can get it, other people can, but basically I want to, and you know this, Drew, we've talked about it. Like, I want to make this simple, like insanely easy, like just click, go, like, and as you also know, we're doing a heck of a lot in the group, and right. I don't want, it can be very overwhelming, but we want to make this simple. And so I thought, if we have somebody who, comes in completely blind to what we're doing, right? And Allie's got a family. She's got 3 boys. She's had to hear some of the stuff that I've been doing over the years, but as far as the specifics, is completely blind to it. So again, not insulting your intelligence, Allie, but if you can, if we can walk you through it, and I want you to ask questions, like legitimately, like Allie and I were talking earlier, like, do you have, one thing that she said, right? What was your question before, Allie?
I said, if you're an independent advisor, why couldn't you join?
Yeah. And that.
It's a very good question.
that got us going. So, well, let me do this. So then, Drew, how long do you have, Drew, to be on?
20-30 minutes.
All right, let me do a really quick recap, and this is where I'm going to have Allie maybe ask questions or give some feedback, and then obviously you can as well. You know a lot more about what we're doing, and then once we get through that, then you and I can maybe chat a little bit more about some of the specifics we're doing. Allie, you're welcome to stick around if you want, or you can bounce after that. So sound good? Plan?
Yep. Yep.
All right, let's do. Oh, I got this set up in a different screen. Here's going to be us on a tape delay.
I'm trying to drink 80 ounces of water, so you're going to see me guzzling out of this giant rainbow cup.
That's fine. And actually, you know what, Drew, another thing that would be helpful too is if you can kind of this is good to have somebody here to monitor the comments, because again, the Zoom link is inside the comments of the post. So again, we'd love for anybody to join. And actually, let me make you a co-host, Drew, so you can, in case somebody's able to join, you can let them in. So everyone's welcome to jump in to the Zoom if you want, but then also just if you want to comment on the post, if you have questions or feedback, please let us know. So if you can kind of help me manage that a little bit, Drew, that'd be awesome.
Will that be down here in the chat?
It should be.
Okay.
It should be. We're still working through some of this, but I think if you have a LinkedIn window open, it should show up in there. Or like if you separately have the window open, like the tape delay portion, I think it'll show up there, but
Okay.
we'll see. All right, Allie, here we go. I'm going to give you the real quick recap and interrupt me, ask questions. Let me know what's confusing as we go. Okay. You ready?
Can I ask a question to start?
No, I have full control over. Yeah. Yes. Ask a question.
This is supposed to be transparency, right?
Yes, it is.
So who's your target audience right now? Is it people who are already in the GAFF community, or it's people who might be interested in joining the GAFF community? Like, I'm not as savvy on LinkedIn at all as you. You like have that platform down. So when you send out this meeting, is it to anybody? Is it to just GAFF members?
Excellent question. Primarily, this would be for non-members. Primarily, and really, I mean, I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves and get years down the line, but at some point, members will not need to interact with us on LinkedIn in any capacity. Everything the members will need and will do, and the benefits and the value will be exclusively in the private community. Now, that being said, we're nowhere near to that point. And so we need help getting the message out wide on LinkedIn. So again, great question. The intention for this is to draw new people in. That's a primary intention, is to really try to cast that wide net, get the message out as wide as we can. Being said, there are members, like I said, who couldn't participate in something like this live if they wanted to, so they can watch this and get a recap and understanding of what we're doing, because again, there's a lot going on, so it can be a little bit confusing. So great question. Thank you. Make sense? You with me?
Yeah, go. All
right,
let's hear it.
So GAFF update. Here it is. This is the premise. And again, I know you actually have heard some of this before because this is pretty much all I talk about. So in a vacuum, you have good advisors, good businesses. They tend to be mutually exclusive. Good advisor takes care of the end client. Good business takes care of the bottom line. In order to be successful over the long run, you need to be both. You need to be both a good advisor and a good business owner. The challenge in our industry, specifically for independent financial advisors, but even someone who's in a more, and I guess I'm already going to start using vernacular, Allie, that she'll be like, what is he talking about? But in a firm that's an employee that's working for a firm, even an advisor in some an affiliation like that, still, I think, should look at their business as a business owner, whether they actually own the business or not. They should run it with that mindset. And so the challenge of splitting this difference of being both a good advisor and a good business owner is that what ends up happening is you end up kind of out on an island by yourself, or you end up looking just like everyone else. And there are a lot of different systems, tools, resources, coaching, consulting firms that try to split the difference and tell advisors, hey, we're going to help you be both a good advisor and a good business owner. But again, what ends up happening primarily is it ends up biasing one way or the other. Advisors may pay for all these great services that are helping them to become a better business owner, but it ends up being a lot of fluff and they end up staying on an island by themselves anyway. Or the alternative is they buy in and find all these great resources, and then again they end up just looking like everyone else. So the intention, what we're trying to do is find a way to split this difference, and what that is helping good advisors become better business owners. The way that we are doing so is through open and transparent peer collaboration. So your question earlier, why wouldn't advisors be able to participate in a LinkedIn Live? Great question. At some point, they will be able to. My intention is to accelerate us to getting to that point. And I'm going to go off on tangents and do things, I guess, I don't know. There's a particular person who wanted to join our group. And this is someone who supports financial advisors. And his reason for being uncomfortable joining the group, and it's completely legitimate. If I'm in his shoes, I would have probably done the same thing. His reason for not wanting to join our group is because the firm that he works for has an agreement with a particular broker dealer, and that broker dealer bars their advisors from engaging with advisors at other broker dealers, which if you think about it, it's absolutely insane that something like that even exists. Like, I'm going to make sure, I'm so nervous about the value proposition that I provide to my advisors. I'm so scared that they might learn that what else is out there, that I'm going to keep them in this environment, and I'm going to ban them from even interacting with other advisors. And oh, by the way, I'm going to have agreements with other firms that scares the hell out of those other firms and employees and individuals from doing the same thing. And again, I'm not using firm names, but a lot of us in the industry know that some of these things happen. Now, there are some legitimate reasons, right? There are compliance issues and there's certain things, but at the end of the day, the intention behind this, and again, Allie, you've heard me go on and on in some ways about this, is to turn the lights on. Like, at some point that policy won't exist, right? It won't. We're on a track, an inevitable track, where the lights will be on whether we do anything or not. The intention here is we're just going to accelerate that process. We're going to get there a little bit faster. So open and transparent peer collaboration. And the value that we're providing to advisors is delivering a curated experience. So another thing that has been happening well beyond the industry is social media has just, Drew, you talked about this the other day. It's gotten more and more noisy. There's more and more bullshit out there. It's harder and harder to find the true value that's out there. So part of what we're intending to do, or a big part of our value proposition, is cut out the noise, cut out the BS, and really try to deliver, very targeted, very specific, valuable content that will be done in full transparency and will be delivered exclusively for financial advisors. Now, different advisors may have different affiliations. Again, some might be employees, some might be independent, some might be early in their careers, some might be later in their careers. And so we're also trying, with this curated concept, trying to really hone in on where advisors happen to be in their business cycle, so that the information, the value that we're giving them is specific to them. And so the way that I've actually started to put this into place is, if you think about good advisors finish first, what finish first means is that you pass the baton to the next person. It doesn't mean you're going to actually finish. The race is hundreds of years long, but you're going to end up passing the baton. And so we're thinking of it in terms of 4 laps. So everyone, the way I'm framing it, everyone's in either lap 1, 2, 3, or 4. You're either just starting out in the business, you're not yet over the hump, you're over the hump, would be lap 3, and then you're ready to pass the baton, that's lap 4. And so the curation of content is to deliver it to each of those individual groups. So it's like, you're in lap 1, here's what's going to be most valuable for you. The transparency means we're not going to just give that to you and then hide everything else. The transparency means this is for you, what we believe is most valuable to you. But guess what? If you want to watch and learn and see everything else we're doing, have at it. Like, everything we're doing is the intention is that we do it in full transparency. So the process of what we're going through in order to help good advisors become better business owners, which ultimately is personal growth, becoming, really a better person, right? It's good people finish first, is this open, transparent collaboration, that curation, that custom experience, developing relationships between the members, mentorship, and then basically trying to help those mentorship relationships hold one another accountable, or the individuals hold one another accountable, so that we do see this actual growth. We see people getting better. I'm not sure in this particular deck. I don't think I have. Maybe I do. Yeah, I have the rules. So just really quickly, as far as the rules, because I want to get into that, is that participation in what we're doing, everything we're doing, is strongly encouraged. This doesn't work if we don't have, this doesn't work if people are unable to participate. People have to participate in order for this to work, but there is no mandate. There's no minimum requirement. I was talking to somebody yesterday, what we're doing in some ways is like a networking group. You don't have to come, and you're not required to give a referral. You're not required to come with content. You're not required to participate. It's really kind of come and go as you please. Again, they're encouraged, and we want people to do that. And that's kind of where that accountability comes in, is the mentorship relationships will hopefully encourage people to participate, or this may not be for everyone if they don't want to participate. And then the second that is important is, and this is legitimate beyond just compliance, and your question earlier about, why can't advisors just do live? There is a lot of value for advisors to be able to engage with one another and not necessarily have all that information shared publicly. So anything that is shared publicly has to be approved first. And that's to protect people's anonymity. Some of the members actually just want to exist inside the group for their concerns over compliance, concerns, which are legitimate, but also just their concerns that they want to be able to, very transparently share their thoughts. In a meeting recently, one of the members brought up the fact that the value that you're able to get in peer collaboration, the value that you're able to get from a mastermind meeting, is basically in line with how vulnerable you're willing to be. So for advisors to be willing, for them to be willing to be vulnerable with one another, they have to have that comfort that, what I'm sharing stays here, right? Unless we authorize it to go, outside. And so there's we're trying to be very strategic about, kind of balancing that, providing the good value, the good opportunity, but also keeping the door open so others can see what we're doing. And then the third is no proactive solicitation. What questions do you have so far? I'm just going on and on. Does that make any sense to you at all as a dogs, canines to the layperson? Does that make any sense to you as the layperson, Allie?
Honestly, this might be, I would have had to look up the word curated, but then you kind of explained it. And then in another slide, you said custom. So I'm assuming it means customized, but I don't know if anybody else is as smart as me and doesn't know the word curated. That was one question I was
think of
gonna
a museum,
ask
a curator, museum. He's like curating the I don't know, content. Anyway.
Okay, so it means custom, right? Or
Yep.
in the next slide, then you explained it as custom. Okay, so custom makes more sense to me. That's good. And then you mentioned a mastermind meeting. Is that something later you're going to explain what that is?
Yeah. Great.
Okay.
Yeah, that's great.
Then I don't want to jump ahead, but okay.
Yeah, let's pivot into that, and I'll go into that really quickly. And Drew, how much more time you got? I don't want to lose you.
No, I'm good. I was just I was clarifying something in the background, so I'm good.
Okay.
About 15-20 minutes.
Okay. All right. So yeah, I want to again kind of get through this, fairly quickly. And like I said, if you can help me kind of monitor for anyone watching, if we do have anyone watching.
I point of clarification on that. So I don't see anything in the chat, but I'm also, I've got the LinkedIn up, and I'm in or at least I'm following the hashtag GAFF. Where would the chat come from? Would it be on the Zoom window or on LinkedIn?
If you go to my profile on LinkedIn, this should show up, and you should be able to click on it and see a meeting going, hopefully, if we're actually going live for doing this, right? Okay. Is it going? I hope so.
I saw it. I think I clicked too fast.
All right. Well, hopefully that's the case, but if you can look, and I'll look here in a moment too, but I want to, again, just try to go through this quickly. All right. So Allie, you asked about masterminds. So let me get there. So the idea, right, is we're trying to just provide this open, transparent collaboration, bring people together inside this community. And we're doing so in a program called Circle. And Circle, you see, and actually I got somebody working on a logo for me. I talked to you yesterday, so we'll see if this changes, but everything is kind of customized logo, white labeled, basically. This is the good people finish first community. So over here, you see good people finish first. Which means it inevitably or down the road will be very, very broad and wide. Good people finish first could conceivably be anyone, right? But the entire focus, the entire emphasis, everything we're doing is good advisors finish first, this GAFF peer pod. And so the idea of the good people finish first community is that eventually it will form multiple peer pods. Right now, again, the exclusive focus is this good advisors finish first peer pod. But I do believe possibly within a year, but certainly within a couple of years, there will be a CPA peer pod. And then there might be an attorney peer pod. There might be a physical trainer peer pod down the road. Like it could be anything, but to begin with, it would be the types of businesses, the types of organizations, industries that would be complementary to advisors. So that's kind of where this is going. So inside a Circle, the way that this works, conceivably, anybody could be part of this good people finish first. Anyone could be part of it. And then if you look over here on the left, you see these little lock symbols. Anyone would not have access to the GAFF peer pod. So everyone's invited to join good people finish first, but seating starts to become limited when we go into this GAFF peer pod. So again, if you wanted to join Allie, you could be part of good people finish first, but you wouldn't have access to the GAFF peer pod. You're not in the industry. And so the way that this works inside a Circle is you have a home feed, and just like regular social media, all of the different posts and content and so forth will show up in your home feed from all of these different spaces over here on the left-hand side. And then you can drill into any of these individual spaces if you want to get a more refined view in that particular space. And so one of the changes that we made recently where we got some feedback was this start here space. It's where members can find meeting links to the meetings that we're running, where they can see the schedule, where there's downloadable Outlook calendar links for members. So all those things are available. But up until just a couple of days ago, this only said start here. Somebody gave me the feedback, like, let's just make it say meeting links so people know. So now it says meeting links, weekly schedule, rules. So people know that that's what it is. So if I'm a member, I click on start here, I see the weekly schedule, I see links, I see everything that's kind of going on. And that's basically a baseline just of what we're doing. And so it's a monthly theme, generates a weekly topic. We run some meetings around that. We record all those meetings. All those meetings are posted exclusively inside the community. So even if someone is unable to attend a meeting, they can watch a clip of or watch the entire meeting if they want. And then my job, what I'm doing is trying to go through those meetings and refine and say, here's, go to the 14-minute mark and here's where we talk about this, or the 18-minute mark. And then in the comments, we share resources. So we had someone last week where they shared a particular technology that they're using, talked about how they're using it, put that in the comments. And then some of the other advisors actually went out and bought. I was joking with the person, like, you should have got a commission on that. Like, some of the advisors went out and bought that based on the conversations that we're having. So again, start here just gives you a lay of the land of everything we're doing. Weekly topics, we just do a post of that weekly topic. One additional change that I made here recently is that I'm not going to post inside of this open member discussion. This is exclusively between the members. So this is advisors posting about a commentary or posting a question, sharing with one another. And there's already been quite a bit of activity in that particular space, which is exciting. And I was part of that too, and sharing and so forth, but I didn't want to muddy the waters with what I'm doing. And so I'm going forward, all of the things that I'll post, I'm just going to keep putting in the start here space. I'm going to basically exclude myself from this particular space. The reason that that's important, this would go to the word curation, is that as a member, you can customize which of these spaces you want to be involved in, which of these spaces you want to get notifications on. So once somebody actually has a really good lay of the land, knows what's going on, they may not want to listen to me anymore and all the stuff I'm rambling about and talking. They could basically block this particular space. So they don't have to see it in their home feed, and they're only going to talk to other members. They don't have to, if somebody wants to. So again, they get to curate, they get to customize their experience. We're going to help them do so, but they get to do that themselves. Then community events is things that are outside of this weekly schedule. Members can set up a monthly or workshops, different things that they want to do at any time. What's cool about Circle is there's a live function, so we can actually run the meetings directly inside a Circle. Most of the meetings we're using Zoom right now, but eventually we'll probably do more and more inside a Circle. And then now finally getting to your question of masterminds, how do the masterminds work? The way that we are adhering to Rule 3, no proactive solicitation, is that everyone is invited to join this. And again, that's why we want this to be live. It's public. We want to encourage people to join. But once you join, there's no longer going to be any invitations. There's no proactive solicitation. Everything that happens subsequent to that initial invitation is an opt-in application process. So members are strongly encouraged to form their own masterminds, to start up. I want to do a financial planning workshop once a quarter, and I want to do it in my own office. They can set up these meetings however they want to, and we can post them inside this mastermind space. What they can't do is solicit other members to join. What they can do is take applications for members to join their masterminds. And this partly is going to encourage members to participate in these other things that we're doing, because if I'm trying to, get a group going, that's a more refined group of my specific peers, people that I want to talk to in a mastermind, in a more, say curated, but a more refined setting. Like I want to talk to advisors who are just like me in this particular mastermind. In order for those advisors, for participants to find other people that might fit a particular profile, they're going to want to participate in these other meetings and talk about the value that they provide, what they're doing for their clients, share ideas, in order to basically, set themselves up where they'll be able to draw people into their mastermind. These masterminds run 100% autonomous from the community. So again, somebody wants to hold it in their office, they can. And I think this was a big epiphany moment for me as we kind of got this going, is that initially I thought we were going to have to do these masterminds as part of the group, which was kind of overwhelming. I can only do so much, right? I can't run all these different meetings and so forth. So to give the keys away and let people do that themselves is going to free me up, where all I have to do is just this ongoing schedule. But it also gives them the ability to define how seating is limited, right? Again, everyone's invited, seating is limited, one invitation. I'm not going to tell members like, hey, you would be best, if they ask me, I will, but I don't want to have to say you'd be best suited to work with this person or collaborate with this person or whatever. They can help. I want to just basically provide the framework for that to organically happen, where members find one another and form into these masterminds, where again, it's a more refined group based on whatever definitions they want to have for the particular members of their mastermind. And then we have a thought leader directory, kind of like an Angie's List. All of our meetings are archived. Like I said, everything's recorded and posted inside the group. We encourage people to comment, watch. Again, what I'm trying to do is cut those up and say, here's the best couple minutes from each meeting, but the entire meeting is available. So if a member wants to watch the whole thing, have at it, they can. We're not yet getting into this space, but we will eventually. Admin only will be support staff for advisors, where we actually won't allow advisors to join that space. It'll just specifically be for admin support. We'll get there, and then suggestions and feedback. All right. So as a layperson, and not just layperson, the Circle thing is new for everybody. What does that make any sense at all to you, Allie?
I think it does. Yeah.
You don't have to make it up. Tell the truth.
No, I mean, It's a lot of information. I mean, I think if I was going to summarize, and you can tell me if I'm understanding. So GAF is this big community of advisors that can glean information off each other, have open collaboration. There's all of these different opportunities for them. They can participate as much or as little as they want. And then they can go into these different areas where they can get information on things that have already happened. They can watch recordings. The masterminds is a little more specific, so it's kind of like subgroups. Is that right? Like if I'm going to a church and there's the pastor, he might not attend the Bible study, but I can break out and go to this little Bible study if I want to and meet other people that are talking about one specific topic, right? Is that kind of, am I getting it?
Nobody is going to believe that you and I did not collude ahead of time, like for you to say that. Like that's awesome. Like that makes me really excited that you were able to get that. I mean, for what my character is worth or whatever, we didn't collude ahead of time. Like that just came off the cuff from Allie right now. So that's freaking awesome. What's that?
I didn't know the word curated, so we obviously didn't.
Yeah, but you hit the nail on that. I mean, you just explained it better than me. I go on for 20 minutes doing all this, 30 minutes. You knocked it out in 30 seconds. So
simplify.
What's that?
Simplify. I'm trying to help you, brother. Just simplify.
Thank you. I'm trying. I'm working on it. That's why we're doing this.
Good job. I'm proud of you.
Thank you. Drew, what do you think?
The way she was describing it, I was like, yep, that's less is more. That was perfect.
Yep. So that's why it's good that we have this recorded too, Allie. Like I'm gonna take that, and actually I can use that clip because you're not beholden to compliance, right? So I can actually, if you're comfortable with me doing so, I can use that clip and then post it and say, here's a lay person and how they understand what we're doing.
Quit calling me a lay person.
I'm just thinking of you and I when we went to Dumb and Dumber, and just how much dogs to the lay person.
Okay, keep going.
All right. No, that was kind of it on the group. Drew, how much more you got? You good, or do you have a few more minutes? Or
yeah, I got a few more minutes.
Did we get any? Is anybody watching? Did we get any comments? Or
I keep bouncing back and forth. I don't see anything just yet.
All right. That's not surprising. That's just we're just getting going here. So notifications. Let's see.
Well, I think you made an important distinction earlier with regard to social media versus this. This is evergreen, right? People on social media are just, maybe some of them are trying to offer value, but a lot of them just want attention, myself included sometimes. But it's just become this thing to where I want to go viral. I'm making these posts so that people pay attention to me. I need followers now. Whereas this is evergreen stuff, that people can access the recordings at any time. They can go do a lot more than they can. So it's a good distinction to draw. So I think you're right.
Yeah, and that's an interesting. We can debate about that at some point, right? Like where's the line between? Like I've explained this as I have talked about, and again, Allie, I'm so glad we got this recorded because you kind of hit the nail on the head. But as I explain this, the analogy that I've given is it's basically as we move toward those masterminds, it's basically like water filtration. And what I'm trying to do at the initial part is filter as much of the bullshit as we can out. But in a realistic setting, it's not going to filter all of the bullshit out, right? It'll get most of the big particulates, it'll get all the, as much of the big crap as we can out, but there's going to still be, some balance in there where people are maybe seeking attention, Drew, or like trying to, one up or do something like that's, anyway, that's just it's an interesting balancing act. I actually, not to start going down this road too far, but Allie with Sienna, and a lot of the people who follow me know, because I'm open about my situation, my personal story, is Sienna's getting her business up and going and selling soaps, mental health or whatever. Like she came up to me and she's like showing me Instagram and she's like, look at the followers and likes and like that. made me nervous because I mean, obviously she's doing really good, important things, which I'm really excited about. I want to encourage, but I don't want it to be done, for those reasons. That's kind of, again, that's an interesting balancing act. So, but yeah, you had a good post the other day, Drew, where you talked about that. I thought that was good. How are the burgers?
Oh, they're awesome. They're awesome. Last night I did drumsticks, chicken drumsticks. I'm just getting back into grilling. I love it. It's my favorite time.
Yeah. Well, it's finally, well, Allie got snow. So I'm in Minnesota. It's actually a little nicer today. She's in Wisconsin. Is it snowing now?
Yep, still snowing.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right. Well, hey, dad's watching, Allie,
Hey, Dad.
if he hasn't hung up yet. I just wrote. That's it. Yeah. So we're just getting going.
Is he talking to you, but we can't hear him?
No, I just looked
Oh.
over on the chat on LinkedIn and he said I'm watching. So I think he might be
Oh.
our one viewer. But
That's
again,
okay.
this will live on so people can watch it. Oh, and for anyone who wants to I'll do a quick plug for LinkedIn Live. For anyone who wants to do something like this, and I'm learning as we go, I can clip these things up on LinkedIn Live. I can go in and trim them, which is cool. I mean, so it's live, it's the whole thing. But then after the fact, like, so I did one of these last week and I cut out the first 5 minutes. I mean, again, if somebody wants to watch it, God bless them, they can watch it, but we can trim it up and make it more refined. So,
yeah,
like maybe this one, what we'll do is we'll refine it down to just a couple minutes ago where you shared your understanding of what we're doing. And that'll be it. That'll be the only thing that'll live on for this one.
Glad I could help.
You did. That was awesome. Thank you. Like I said, nobody's going to believe that we didn't talk about it ahead of time. That was super cool.
Well, you've been sharing with me this dream and this vision that you've had for a long time. So yes, I'm not a financial advisor, but I do understand the concept of good advisors finish first. I believe in what you're doing. I'm proud of you for what you're doing. And I think if I was a financial advisor, I would definitely join a community where you can learn and glean off from other people. Like, why would you not? But I mean, you went into that where companies might not allow them to do that. But I think if they can, I mean, yeah, just help the best of the best be best. That's awesome.
Well, and I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves because I have gotten some feedback about, why is it good people finish first, good advisors finish first. It's, again, good people finish first, wide net. Good advisors finish first is just this pure pie. But let me ask you that, like, would you down the road, 5 years, 10 years from now, at some point, if we get to the point where we start franchising this pure pod concept out to other businesses, would you do something like that with other personal trainers, like around the country? Like, would that be valuable, helpful to you, do you think?
I mean, I'm just thinking of when I used to be in the travel industry, and for travel agents to have those communities was huge. I mean, that's kind of what I promoted, was working in those collaborative organizations and associations is what they were. But yeah, I don't think there's anything like that, or that I know of right now with 3 kids. Would I be able to do something like this? Absolutely not. But you said 5 years later down the road. Yeah.
I mean, but again, it's come and go as you please. Like, you would just be able to, you wouldn't have to do it all the time, just a little bit. And I don't know. There's just so many things, so many different ways that I see this eventually going. And like I said, that, I don't want to confuse the messaging because that has come up. I've had actually a couple people now, so it's, legit, have said, like, what's good people finish first? Why isn't it good advisor? So I've had to explain that. But the way that we're framing it is it's the good advisors finish first, the GAFF peer pod inside of the good people finish first community. And again, that's my exclusive focus. That's our exclusive focus right now as advisors. And even when we do open up down the road and start doing these other pods, like I said, that it won't be travel agents or personal training or whatever. It'll be things that are complementary to advisors to start. So again, CPAs would come to mind as a, probably, and probably mostly small businesses, would be a good fit. But anyway, that's down the road.
Do you clarify for people, advisor means financial advisor?
Do I
Or
clarify
has that never come up? Have you ever had to? Like, when you say good advisors, does everybody assume that means a financial advisor, or has that never come up? Like for people maybe just searching for good finish first, and they're starting there looking at that community, and then they see advisors. Except that I know you, I don't know that my mind would immediately go to good financial advisor.
I mean,
You don't
what
need
comes to your
change
mind when you
anything.
hear the
I'm just
word?
talking.
Yeah. What comes to your mind when you hear the word advisor?
Well, because I'm related to you and because this is what you've been doing for the last however many years, financial advisor. But
I mean,
it could
if
be
you
like,
can, if you're able to cut that out of your mind, I mean, like, is that what you would think in general? Or would you think of like a coach or like, or something else? Like what, where would your mind go?
a business.
Yeah.
I
guess
wouldn't change it.
What's
If
that?
you ever, I wouldn't change anything. Don't make it, don't add another letter. It's fine the way it is. I'm just,
Instead of GAF,
if
it'll be
people,
GAFF.
no, I like it the way it, but you know what I mean? Like if somebody is questioning or like finds you through the big concept of good people finish first, that might be a question for those people, but I don't think you need to change anything.
In my mind, it's like, I mean, if that were to happen, that's a great problem to have. I'll just say, yeah, this is for financial advisors. I mean, it hasn't been an issue as I've been directly tied to the industry, right? For the last 20 years. Now that I'm kind of venturing out and doing this, I'm loosely tied to the industry. So, I guess again, that could happen, but again, that's a good problem. And I mean, all that would happen if that, is basically it'd be like, hey, it's great to meet you, a good connection. This is just for financial advisors, please follow this because down the road it might be something else, but that's all we're doing right now.
Mhm.
So yeah, we're not going to call it GAFF. So it's GAF. All right. Did Dad say anything else? I can get on the pictures with you guys. Oh, I can't. Oh, he could if he wanted. Huh? I wonder, do you think he would join? He said he didn't want to join the Zoom.
Don't put him on the spot.
No, I won't. All right. Drew, anything else?
No.
Have you been able so I know again, Allie's simplifying things, whittling stuff down. I mean, for real. I guess, what is your comfort level with, let me put it this way, not just navigating what we're doing, because I do think you now get it, but explaining that to others potentially. I mean, do you feel like, if some random advisor like, hey, what are you guys doing? I'd like to learn more about it. Do you feel like you could, convey it pretty quickly in a minute or two?
Yeah. Yeah, I would basically say it's a community of like-minded advisors from various stages that all come together to do good by doing good, for each other and with each other. And from there, there's all these individual kind of breakout sessions you can get into based on who you click with or what you're interested in or what stage of the career you're in. And it's off the social media platform. So there's no crap, it's only helpful, valuable stuff, which I think a lot of advisors will appreciate because they're all getting hit up left and right on LinkedIn every day.
Well, and that's, I appreciate you saying like, with the people, I don't know what word you use, like you mesh with or click, like, kind of your tribe as you form it, again, that ties into my intentions with this is again, water filtration analogies. We cut out most of the crap to begin with. Then you come into these meetings, you start to interact and engage and get to know people a little bit. And, it sets you up where it's going to be easier for those relationships to form organically, right? Again, rather than, again, if we did all this in traditional social media or whatever, you'd always probably come in with a little bit of a, mindset of like, is this person, legit, or are they full of shit? Are they, really? And so like, again, that still could happen inside of the group, but I can say right now, I know personally, everybody who's joined so far, except for 2 people, which is freaking awesome that we've already expanded and got a couple new people in, but I've talked to them and feel like I've vetted them pretty well, that I think they have the right mindset. So this is, I mean, it's cool. What's really cool, when I talk about everyone's invited, seating is limited, is that the seating is limited kind of takes care of itself. Like there are some people who have told me no. And I mean, a few that I've like, at first I'm like, oh, that's too bad. I'd really like, I think this would be good or valuable. But then after having some other conversations or kind of thinking it through and knowing who that person was, I'm like, we don't even want them anyway. Like it's like they self-select, like the people that we don't want really to be a part of this. They just make that choice for them. We don't have to tell them no. They say no themselves. They're like, oh, that's not for me. Like, I don't want to, and I don't know, not to get too far down this road, but I had a conversation with somebody yesterday and we were just talking about like our values. And one of them is humility and just the dangers of hubris. And that's well beyond our industry, but certainly in our industry, we see that all the time, the egos and, you know, just how that is. And I was talking to this person yesterday who basically just conveyed how they had gotten together with some other advisors that we had been doing this with, or they had basically connected with through this community, and how the way he described it was, again, this is why I like to have stuff recorded. It would have been nice. Like the way he described it was awesome. He's like, all the egos were checked at the door. Like everybody was just there, level, round table. It was just totally legit. And then he also went further and said, and then there were some other people who came up and joined or wanted to join the conversation or talk, and they weren't necessarily of that mindset. And the way he described it is like, they kind of came in with that ego right away. Like, I'm great. I'm awesome, whatever. But like immediately were kind of put in their place, so to speak, to, be at this level where everyone does check their ego at the door. So again, it's kind of cool that, people, almost the people that we don't want to be part of this. And I don't say don't want, because that's like, at least we don't want to be part of this right now, or right now. I just want to say, like, at some point, maybe they will, be part of it. It's just, right now it's just not going to be a fit for them. Again, they make that choice for themselves. So.
Yeah, it's funny. I built out a whole webinar for financial advisors, and that's what I do at the beginning. Is it's more inclusive. So this is for financial advisors stuck in overwhelm or in the suck or whatever, and then I go through the whole presentation. But then at the end, I give them a strategy session. Again, it's really for newer advisors, but at the end of it, that's when I start to weed out, okay, this is not you if you want the magic bullet. This is not for you if you think you know it all and you're not coachable. You know what I mean? So you want to really, attract, almost as if you're attracting a client, attract the ideal client and repel the people that, it's just not for them. And maybe, like you said, maybe it's not for them right now. Or maybe it's a personality fit for some of them, but
yeah, it's like, I don't know, this came to me as we were through the process. This has been an evolution, but the mercy over justice mindset is, I'm really, I still like, oh, that guy's an asshole or whatever. Like I still, I'm not like perfect on that, but I'm trying to really adhere to that. And I'm definitely better than I used to be, where it's like, they're just not ready yet. Like, that's fine. I just move on. Like maybe they will be later. It's, it's up to them. But I was just thinking a good analogy. I kind of alluded to this. Like, so Allie has a personal fitness, like, business where they, it's like people want that real quick, I want the pill that just, I immediately lose 20 pounds and I'm in shape or whatever, but it takes a lot of work. You have to actually, put in the work and plug away. And so anyway, there's I think a good analogy to your physical health and your business health as an advisor. Like it's not going to just happen overnight, right? You got to put in the effort in order to make it work. And again, not everybody's ready to do that.
Yep. Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
All right.
Well, I've got to hop off and get ready for this 11:30, but yeah, I think it was a good talk. And I think being as though it's recorded, it'll really, again, it's evergreen. So as people filter in, they'll be able to see that. And I think your sister hit some nails on the head to really sum it up for some people. So you maybe should send her like a Starbucks gift card or something.
Well, or maybe I'll
Thanks,
get her.
Drew.
Yeah,
What's that?
I said, thanks, Drew.
Yeah.
I want some of your wings. That made me hungry.
There you go.
I owe her a lot. So I'll add that to my tab. So, all right.
Oh, stop.
Hey, Drew, thank you so much for joining. I mean, your support in all this and just enthusiasm around has been super helpful. And it's just another example of the right mindset, right? And the more people that we continue to find like you, I mean, it's just going to keep making this better and better. And so thank you for jumping in. And Allie, yeah, like Drew said, you really did hit the nail on the head. And like I said, people are going to not believe that I didn't set you up at it. Like you said, you've heard me drone on about this over the years, but still, that was pretty awesome. So thank you so much for doing this. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad I could be here.
All right. We will talk to y'all later. Thanks.
See you guys.
Bye.
See ya.